All right, good evening, everybody. Again, we're here for a tragic incident. The first thing I want to do is send my condolences to the family members of the victims in this situation. At approximately 3:37 today, in the 1200 block of West Thorndale, there were three individuals, all juveniles ranging between the ages of 15 to 16, walking. There was a vehicle that pulled up. Several individuals got out of that vehicle and fired weapons in the direction of these individuals, striking all three. At this time, one of the juveniles has expired. One is in critical condition. The other one is stable with a gunshot wound to the leg. This is a tragic incident. They were all three were CPS students. Tomorrow, we will make sure that we have victim services out to the school to talk to the students. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mayor Johnson, and we'll take questions at the end. Mayor Johnson.
Thank you, Superintendent Snelling. The city of Chicago continues to grieve, and our hearts are heavy as these tragic shootings happen too often. And as we grieve and mourn the loss of not just this one individual, but other individuals in this city who have lost their lives due to the senseless gun violence, we hold our hearts and our grief close. The loss of life is horrific under all circumstances, but it is especially harsh when our young people are targeted. As a parent and as parents across this city, we do everything in our power to keep our children safe. So this hurts, and I know our city is hurting. But the individuals who are responsible for this kind of violence, it has to end. The harm and the chaos and the trauma that's being caused by individuals who do not value life. The full force of government will be used to bring those individuals to justice. Whatever conflict and whatever pain that you are expressing, this is not the way to do it. The loss of life is tearing at the fabric of this city. And we need everyone to work with our community members, with law enforcement, to put an end to this senseless violence. And to the students and to the families who are grieving today and have been grieving, the Office of the Mayor, as well as our police department, will provide services for all those who wish to receive those services. The only way we're going to get through this, Chicago, is if we work together. All of us. Because these tragedies cannot continue. The faith community, the business community, our police department, all of us working together to put an end to this horrific pain that we have endured for too long in this city. But we also have to be very clear about getting at the root causes of violence, ensuring that there's mental health services, that there are good paying jobs. There's no excuse for violence. There's also no excuse for communities being underserved and underinvested in. So again, our hearts are heavy. But I have confidence in our superintendent and our police department and the Office of Community Safety, our Deputy Mayor Gary Gatewood. And I have confidence in the city of Chicago that we can come together once and for all to put an end to the horrific tragedy caused by gun violence. With that, we'll take questions.
Can we do it in an orderly fashion? Can we start left to right, please?
Yeah, wondering about a motive at this point.
At this point, that's being investigated. However, we do believe that the three individuals were targeted.
We heard reports from witnesses that there were children or other teens who had jumped in to perform CPR and life-saving measures right when this happened. Do you have any of that information? And were these Senn High School students?
That I don't have the information on. I know that the students were a couple of blocks away from the school, but we'll get back to you on that information.
Mayor Johnson, with this being the second shooting involving teenage students in Chicago this last week, what's your message to parents tonight worried about sending their kids to school tomorrow?
Well, I'm a parent. I'm sending my kids to school tomorrow. We're not going to allow this tragedy to disrupt our lives in Chicago. Look, our hearts are heavy. We're grieving. And as I said, as a parent, no parent should have to bury their child. And the provocation that leads to this type of violence, we have to put an end to. And I'm committed to that. But what I can say to every single parent is what I'm saying to my wife, that we have to work together. We have to work together to get at the root causes of violence, but we also have to work with our police department to bring these violent individuals to justice. But we're not going to allow these acts of terror to disrupt our livelihoods. My children will be in school tomorrow, and children across this city will be in schools tomorrow. And we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that our young people are safe. But we're also going to make sure that we bring these individuals to justice. We're also going to make sure that we get at the root causes of this violence. Because until we do that, we will never be satisfied. We will never be satisfied into the very neighborhoods where violence is most likely to take place. We won't be satisfied until we're fully invested in those communities. And as a parent, again, my heart is heavy. I have 3. But it's going to take all of us. And I'm committed to leading that.
Considering that this happened near a school, just like the previous incident, is there going to be something done in terms of police strategy surrounding the schools and when students get out of school?
Well, what I can tell you is this. In the past, with schools where we know we've had volatile incidents, we made sure that we had special attention around those schools. We are going to have special attention around all the schools. So across the districts, across the entire city, we will make sure that we have a police presence at dismissal and at the time that students are arriving at school.
Last question.
Is there any connection between last week's incident and this incident outside of the apparent similarities in time and place? And can you confirm if the kids are students from Senn?
So good question, because I knew that would probably come up. Right now, there is no evidence that these 2 shootings are connected. No evidence that they're connected. So we want to put that to rest. Yes, these students have been confirmed as students who attend Senn High School. I'd like to say this in furtherance. We're seeing these brazen acts of violence against young people, against innocent bystanders, against innocent people, people on their way to work. We see it through shootings, robberies. It is important that we understand that people who are acting out violently in our city and committing violent acts against our citizens here in this city have to be held accountable. We have to hold them accountable. If we're not holding them accountable, especially with this level of brazenness, they will continue to do it. And I'll tell you this right now, Chicago Police Department, myself, we're committed to making sure that we get to the bottom of these types of crimes and that we take these people into custody. We will be holding them accountable. And it's important, as the mayor talked about everyone getting involved, we all need to hold these violent criminals accountable for their actions. What we have to start thinking about are the victims in this situation, because when someone is shot and when someone is killed, it doesn't just affect that particular victim. It has a ripple effect. Their families, their family members. It leads into fear for our residents. We have to push back against this type of violence, this type of brazenness. We have to protect our children. We have to protect the innocent here. So we will hold violent criminals accountable. I can promise you that.
We do have crisis responder over at the hospital from Chicago Survivors, but what we're doing, we're reaching out to the neighborhood, we're reaching out to the community. You know, it's a damn shame we had 4 people shot in Dalton. We had 3 people shot on Kizzy with a deceased person over there. Now I'm just getting information. We got another deceased person in the 3rd district from a shooting. What I'm asking this community to do, there's a $2,000 incentive up on the arrest and the conviction of these shooters. I mean, this mother and this father have to go through this, no graduation, a family reunion, and only family reunion that they're having this year is for families to come in and grieve over a loss of a loved one. To the shooters, you need to turn yourself in, because I guarantee you sooner or later, somebody's going to give up your information. There's no way this mother and this father should have to go through closing a door, and not their home door, closing a casket door. So I'm asking the high school students, anybody that had any information on this shooter, to turn these individuals in and give these information over to Area North, Area 3 police station. We need that information. We're losing too many young kids. There's no graduation and no proms. For what? What did you gain out of this? A person has lost his life. Where are you resting at? Because this person is inside, going to be inside the medical examiner's office right now, and who knows if the other individual is going to succumb to his injuries. What we need to do is police the streets. You just heard from the mayor, you just heard from the Chicago Police Department. We need to take these streets back. We said over and over again, enough is enough. When enough gonna be enough? We're tired of preaching and saying the same thing over and over again. What you need to do is start picking up the phone, giving up the information of the shooter and where that gun is at. This is one other student that's not gonna graduate. No graduation. So how do you think this mother's feeling? How do you think this father's feeling? How do you think we're feeling? How do you think the officers are feeling? How do you think the mayor's feeling? Nobody's feeling this. The only feeling that we can do is fill in that police department and give them the information on the damn shooter. That's what we need to do. We're going over and over again. In 1 year without a shooting, starting another year with a shooting and a death. So we're asking you to give us that call, 1-800, the letter U, tell us, 1-800-883-5587, if you have that information.
Andrew, do you know the student who did pass away? Do you have their age or any other details about that?
16-year-old. We do have that information. We have crisis responders at the hospital now, reaching out to the parents and trying to comfort them and console them. But you know, you can only do so much comforting, you can only do so much consoling. And I'll say this now, they wonder why so much retaliation and why we try to stop the retaliation and why so much is going on in the state penitentiaries or 26 in California. Whoever this young man is, he has somebody that love him that's inside the institution. And then you wonder why so much crime is on the streets in the institution. This is why. And it's hard to try to stop it because somebody knew this young man. I'm just keeping it real. Somebody knew this young man. Somebody wants to retaliate behind this, and we try to stop it. We pray that we can stop it. But how can you stop it if an individual don't want to listen to you at all? Because sooner or later, somebody's going to retaliate, and we'll be at the same place again over someone else's loved one. So, you know, we say put the guns down. They're not putting them down. They're pulling the triggers. So what we have to do is make sure our judicial system, from the state's attorney to the judge, fully charge these individuals and keep them incarcerated. All this ankle bracelets and stuff, take them ankle bracelets off. We don't need them. We had a shooting out in Dalton. One of them had an ankle bracelet on. Who's monitoring that? The crime is just still going. Get to the root of the problem. Let's solve the problem. Let's hold these individuals accountable. As simple as that. We don't need no new laws. We got the toughest laws on the books. So why keep trying to invent the wheel when the wheel is steady rolling and we're steady burying our teenagers? That's simple as that.
Andrew, you're clearly frustrated. I'm tired of you showing up to these.
1 second. Repeat that again.
You're clearly frustrated tonight. I'm tired of you showing up to these functions.
You know, yeah, I'm frustrated, but you know what? It's the mother. Fathers are frustrated too, but when you look at a mother that carried a child 9 months and it took a second to take this individual's life, for what? What did you gain? Nobody gaining anything. The family is the one suffering. What are you gaining? What if this happened to you and your mother and your father is grieving over you? Now the next step, they at the medical examiner's office got to look at their loved ones, got to identify their loved ones. Why should they have to identify their loved ones? They know them already. So they got to go identify them because of you, your hands on that gun. Too many guns on the streets.
Do you know if all the victims were male, female?
From what we understand, they were all males.
They were walking.
Understand that they were walking. Individuals, they discharged this weapon. This young man has succumbed to his injury, so now we got another grieving family, another person in these shoes that shouldn't be in these shoes. Learn to get along, learn to live. Whatever chip you had on your shoulder, whatever you had in your heart, you need to reverse that because you can't keep taking individuals alive because, see, the hunt is on, and it's as simple as that. Person has to be brought to justice. And if you got that information, get that information up. It's simple as that. Before, they be knocking at your door, and your loved one be laying over there in the medical examiner's office. Yeah, it's frustrating because where's his graduation? Where's his prom? Where's his next meal? There's no next meal. There's no next supper. You know, everybody always want to say, oh, they're in a better place. A better place is with their mother and with their father, enjoying the fruits of their labor, not at the hands of you and you discharge that weapon.